Game one of the ALCS pops off tonight up in the Bronx. The Yankees are only 4 wins away from making it to the World Series, but before they do that, they got to stand on business against the Guardians. So let's talk ALCS with our Yankees beat writer for the New York Post, Greg Joyce. Greg, I'm looking ahead way too much. The playoff atmosphere here in New York when it comes to Mets, Yankees being great. So I apologize to the fan base if I jinxed anything, but what's going on, my man? How you feeling?
Doing well, Brandon. Yeah, ready to get a new series kicked off tonight and see where it takes us. But yeah, good so far.
All right, we got to lead this thing off by asking you and getting your thoughts on the Yankees adding Anthony Rizzo and Marcus Stroman onto the ALCS roster.
Yeah, so two veterans coming back. Rizzo missed a DS because of the two fractured fingers he had on the second to last day of the regular season. Tried to come back for the DS, but was honest with himself, wasn't quite ready. But was able to do more in the last couple of days. It's been described as a pain tolerance thing at this point, but evidently he showed enough to where he can kind of get through this. It sounds like he's going to have some extra padding in his glove to kind of help with that, and then we'll see what he brings offensively. But it's just he's one of two guys on the roster who have won a World Series in the past, so brings that presence with him. John Birdie and Oswaldo Cabrera did a nice job filling in at first base in the DS, but would expect Rizzo to get the majority of the starts here in the CS. And then Marcus Stroman, he's going to offer length out of the bullpen. He was left off the DS roster as well, just because they only went with 11 pitchers because they had so many. It was only a 5-game series and 3 off days in there. So, but Stroman, he's not going to be starting, but he stayed stretched out through a sim game last week. So if they need him for length, they got him in the bullpen now.
Another guy that they could get back at some point, hopefully, Nestor Cortes. He threw his first bullpen session on Sunday since being diagnosed with the left elbow flexor strain. Is there any way that he could be available at any point throughout this series?
The only way he could get, since he isn't on the initial roster, the only way he can get on is if he's replacing an injured player. For the ALCS at least. They did consider kind of rushing him back. Usually, when a pitcher is rehabbing, he at least has to face hitters first before, a team feels comfortable activating him. The Yankees kind of considered possibly skipping that step just to get him on the roster. Like you said, he threw his first bullpen yesterday, but kind of decided, I think, to play it cautiously, even though it sounded like everything went well with the bullpen. But I'd say the best case for Nestor at this point is, kind of probably not throw another bullpen this week if he bounces back well from it, and then probably face hitters, maybe by this weekend, which could potentially kind of, if the Yankees advance to the World Series, I would think that there's a much better shot that Nestor Cortes could be on that roster. So we'll see if he keeps progressing in the right way, but in all likelihood, you won't see him in the ALCS.
All right, that's going to be something we're going to keep our eyes on. So let's get into the nitty and gritty of the series. Who would you say has the edge offensively in this series, Cleveland or the Yankees?
Yeah, certainly the Yankees. I mean, the Guardians have Jose Ramirez, who's one of the best players in the game. From a power and speed perspective, he can do it all. But they don't have as much around him as the Yankees do. Obviously, when the Yankees arrive, they have Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Giancarlo Stanton, who's already shown this postseason how clutch he can be, and just a much deeper lineup. That said, Aaron Judge didn't. He didn't have his best ALDS. He's one of the guys the Yankees need to get rolling again here in the ALCS. But, the Guardians can kind of use speed to their advantage on their bases, but they don't have the kind of, real power threats aside from Jose Ramirez. Josh Naylor had a good season, but they just don't have the depth that the Yankees do, which, that's on paper, and we'll see how it plays out in the ALCS. But just heading into it, the Yankees should have the advantage there.
You mentioned Aaron Judge. We all know about his postseason struggles right now. We know what it's like to be a star here in New York City. Would you say that this is the biggest series of Aaron Judge's career?
Yeah, it's certainly up there. He's been to 3 ALCSs before this. And obviously, his rookie year in 2017, Yankees came within 1 win of going to the World Series, didn't get there. And they haven't been that close since. Last time they were in the ALCS, they got swept by the Astros. The time before that, I think it went to 6 games again against the Astros, and 2017 Game 7 against the Astros. So, this is another chance for him to kind of add to that legacy by having a big series that, could propel the Yankees into the World Series. And then if that's the case in the World Series, it'd be his biggest series of his career. But, would certainly help the Yankees' chances here if Judge could kind of get rolling again like he was in the regular season. A short series, he did seem like he was having better at bats towards the tail end of the ALDS, which the Yankees are, they've been confident throughout that it's just a matter of time. But obviously the short series, you don't have a ton of time here to kind of get going. So obviously, it puts the weight on him going into the series to kind of, play a little bit more like he did during the regular season.
You're around the team, you're around the clubhouse. Has he talked about like how he can get out of the slump?
He's big on kind of passing the baton. If he doesn't get his pitches, take a walk. That's the one thing in the DS. He did take his walks. It wasn't like he was, going up there hunting, trying to, swing at anything just to try to get a hit. Like I said, he did it much better at bats in Game 4 against the Royals. So, he's been trying to kind of downplay it, and not necessarily downplay it, but kind of just talk about doing his share, passing the baton. But obviously, there's other guys in the lineup who are capable of doing damage as well. But when Judge is going, he's their best threat. So, no secret that they kind of need to get him going.
All right, we got Carlos Rodon versus Alex Cobb on the mound tonight. Which team would you say has more momentum heading into Game 1?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Yankees probably should, right? They're coming off beating the Royals in 4 games. The Guardians had to go to 5 against the Tigers. So you could say maybe, they've played more recently, just won a big Game 5. But also, their bullpen, which was the best in the regular season, is pretty dominant. And it's certainly going to present some challenges to the Yankees. But their bullpen had to throw a lot in the DS. So if you're the Yankees, you're kind of hoping maybe that, maybe they run out of gas here. Maybe they're overworked in the ALDS. We'll see if that's the case. But, the Yankees have the edge in a lot of places, including their rotation, on paper at least. The Guardians are built more around their bullpen. So in a long series, you figure that the starting pitching is going to matter. The Yankees got to get a lead before Cleveland hands it to the bullpen, because once it gets to those guys, it can be tough. But, certainly heading in, I think everybody would call the Yankees favorites, but like you said, that doesn't mean a whole lot once you start playing.
All right, Greg, thanks for jumping on with this, man.
You got it. Thanks, Brandon.